Hello, greetings from EasyMathsTutor. Today I'm going to be solving some very simple and straightforward problems on decimals. So first of all, the question, what is a decimal? A decimal is a number. A decimal is a number. A decimal is an irrational number. Okay, it's irrational because it cannot be divided to get a whole number, but a decimal will have a fraction, and those fractions will give us different figures at the end. Okay, so this is a decimal. Consists of a number. For instance, we have 10.1246. This is a decimal. This is a whole number, and this is the remainder. Now, a decimal consists of a point known as a decimal point. And this point can be converted, it makes this figure to be converted to a mixed fraction or a proper fraction. So if I want to convert a decimal to a fraction, it will look something like this. For instance, we will have 10.12. If I'm converting it, and it will be 10 whole number, 12 all over. We'll have 1. The decimal represents 1 in the denominator, which is 1, and the 2 digits represent 0. So this is the mixed fraction format of this decimal number. So with that in mind, we're going to solve some questions that have to do with decimal. Stay tuned. So our first problem will be converting to decimals. So we'll say convert these to decimal. Now we have the first one, which will be 3/4. The second one will be 1/2. And the third one will be 4/5. Then I'll add the fourth one, which will be, okay, let's put it here, 1 whole number, 3/5. So how do we solve and convert these figures to decimal places? I have a couple of methods, but I'll start with the long division method. So draw a long division sign. So it is 3 divided by 4. So 3 will be inside and 4 will be outside. So 4 is larger than 3. That means there will be a decimal. Now this decimal will bring about a 0, giving us 30. So 30 divided by 4. 30 divided by 4 will give us 4 times 7 is 28. So 30 divided by 4 will be 7. Remainder 7, right? 7 times 4 gives us 28. Okay? So 30 minus 28 gives us 2. Then the 0 comes down behind 2, giving us 20. So we have 20 divided by 4, giving us 5. 5 times 4 is 20. So we'll stop here because we have 0. 20 minus 20 gives us 0. So our decimal point will be 0.75. So this is the decimal conversion of this figure or fraction 3 over 4. 3 over 4. Then, there is another method that I can use to get a decimal point of 3 over 4. I usually do it like this. I will say 3, I'll put a 0 there and put 4. Okay? So that 0 gives me 0 points. 30 divided by 4 gives us 7. 7 times 4 gives us 28, meaning there's a remainder of 2. 20 divided by 4 gives us 5. So our answer will be 0.75. So the second number, 1 over 2, how do we convert 1 over 2 to a decimal point? We will have, remember, 1 over 2 is 1 divided by 2. So if you put a long decimal sign, we'll have 2 outside and 1 inside. So for us to have 0 here, it will be 0 points. For a 0 to come out inside the division box, there has to be a decimal in the answer section. So 10 divided by 2 gives us 5. 5 times 2 gives us 10. 10 minus 10 gives us 0, so we'll stop here. So our final answer will be 0.5. So let's try our second method. Our second method, I usually say 10. I put another 0 at the end of, I put a 0 at the end of the numerator. So that 0 will give us 0.0 points, okay? Then 10 divided by 2 gives us what? 5, and there is no remainder. So the answer is 0.5. So that is that. So the next one we're going to do is 4 over 5. First of all, we know that 4 over 5 is the same thing as 4 divided by 5. So we'll use our long division. 5 will be outside while 4 will be inside. We'll put a decimal outside, which is 0 points, giving us a 0 inside the division box. So 40 divided by 50. 40 divided by 5, gives us what? 8. So we'll write 8 up here. Then 8 times 5 gives us 40. We'll write the 40 under. And then we will subtract. 40 minus 40, 40 minus 40 gives us 0. So we have 0, 0. So our final answer for this fraction, the decimal form of this fraction, is 0.8. Now my second method, 4 over 5. I'll put 0 at the end. 0 at the end means there will be 0 points up there. So 40 divided by 5 is 8, and there's a 0 remainder. So we'll stop here. So our answer will be 0.8. Okay? Okay, the next question, we're going to convert a mixed fraction to a decimal. So let's go right ahead. So the fact that we have one whole number, 3 over 5, we already have 1 point something something something. Okay? We have 1 point something something something. So what is that something? We're going to look for the decimal of 3 over 5. Okay? So we'll put our long division sign. Remember, this is 3 over 5 is 3 divided by 5. 3 divided by 5. So 3 will be inside and 5 will be outside. So the decimal will be there. The decimal will be there. Then 0 will be here. 30 divided by 5 is very simple. It gives us 6. So we'll write 6 here. 6 times 5 also will give us 30. So we'll write our 30 down here and we'll subtract. Since there is no remainder, we will stop here. So our answer is 0.6. 0.6. Then also, the second method, I would like to convert one whole number 3/5 to a mixed fraction form. So that is what? Remember, 1 times 5 gives us 5 plus 3 gives us 8. So the mixed fraction is 8/5. 8/5. So now we'll simply divide. Okay? 5 goes into 5, 1. 5 goes into 8, 1. Remainder what? Remainder 3. So that remainder 3, because 3 is less than 5, we'll put a decimal. Okay? And that decimal will give us a 30. So 30 divided by 5 will be 6. So our final answer is 1.6. So the decimal of this is 1.6. Remember I said 1 point something something. That something something is 6. Next, we're going to convert from decimals to fractions. So when you see a decimal, what does it really look like if it's a fraction? So let's take a look at this. Convert from decimal to fraction. So the first problem is 0.03. 0.03. The second problem is 0.22. The third problem will be 0.5. The fourth one is 0.083, and the fifth one is 2.25. These decimals, I represent them in their fractional form. So remember, whenever you see a decimal point, it represents 1. Okay? So we'll have 0.03. We'll draw a line. Okay? We'll put under the decimal, we'll put 1. Under the decimal, we'll put 1. And then the 2 digits will use 0 to represent them in the denominator. So this is simply 3/100. So this is a fractional representation of 0.03 as a fraction. Now 3/100 is its lowest form. It cannot be reduced further. So we'll adopt this as a fraction of 0.03. Now for 22, same thing, we'll say 0.22. Okay, we'll draw a line, then we'll put 1 under the decimal and they have 2 digits after the decimal, which is 2 zeros. So that will give us 22/100. 22/100. So we'll find out that you can reduce this further than this. So 2 will go into 22 11 times. 2 will go into 100 50 times. So our fraction is 11/50. Then we have 0.5. Okay? 0.5. The decimal will have 1 in the denominator and 5 will represent 0 in the denominator. So our answer will be 5/10. If we reduce this further, we will have 1/2, because if you divide 5 by 5, you get 1. If you divide 10 by 5, you have 2. And then we have 0.083. Okay? Under the decimal, we put 1, and then we have 3 digits. The 0 represents 1, 0. The 8 represents another 0, and the 3 represents the third 0. So our fraction will be 83/1000. That's the fraction. So now we have this 2.25. 2.25. Converting 2.25 to a fraction. 2 is already a whole number, so we'll write 2 as a whole number. And then we have 0.25. 0.25 over. Now this decimal represents 1, 2 represents 0, 25 represents 0. So we have 2 whole number, 25 over 100. 25 will go into itself once, and 25 will go into 100 4 times. So our final fraction is a mixed fraction, which is 2 whole number, 1 over 4. Let us continue. We'll convert from decimal to percentages. Okay? So it's simply representing a decimal as a percentage. So now, the first decimal is 0.09. Converting it is simply multiplying it by 100%. Okay? So if we multiply 0.9 by 100, means we're going to move this decimal place 2 times to your right. Moving it 2 times to your right. So that is 1, 2, giving us 9%. That's one method. Another method, let's use a long multiplication method. 100 times 0.09. Okay? So we say 9 times 0, 0. 9 times 0, 0. 9 times 1, 9. 0 times 0, 0. 0 times 0, 0. 0 times 1, 0. Okay? Then we have 0 times 0, 0. 0 times 0, 0. 0 times 1, 0. So we're adding up this. Okay? So this will become 0. 0 plus 0 becomes 0. 9 plus 0 plus 0 becomes 9. 0 plus 0 becomes 0. 0 becomes what? 0. Then, in the whole of this function, this equation or expression, we have only 2 decimal. How many decimal places do we have? 100 has no decimal place. 0.09 has 2 decimal places. So from the end of this figure, we'll count 2 decimal places to your left. That is 1, 2. So our answer is 9. 9% is our answer. So our next question is 0.67. 0.67. 0.670 times 100%. So we'll do the short method, which is count 2 decimal places to your right. 1, 2. 1, 2. That is 67%. Now for the third one, same thing. 0.875 times 100%. Count 2 decimal places to your right. 1, 2, giving us 87.5%. For the third one, 0.11 times 100%. Count 2 decimal places to your right, giving us 11%. In this section, we're going to write these percentages out as decimals. We're going to write out these percentages as decimals. So these are the 4 questions we're going to tackle. 80%, quickly we'll represent it. We'll write it out in full. 80% is 80 over 100. So since it's over 100 and we have 2 zeros, to convert this 100 to 1, what do? We'll have to count 2 decimal places to your left. So remember, whatever you do on the numerator will be the same thing you will do on the denominator, and vice versa. So if at this point we want to make here 1, we'll count 1, 2. Therefore, we have to count also 1, 2 in the numerator. So the decimal ended in front of 8. So we have 0.8. 0.8. So we have 1%. Quickly convert it to fraction, which is 1 over 100. So we need to make the denominator 1. So to make the denominator 1, whatever we do in the denominator, we have to do the same in the numerator. So we'll write it out here again. We have 100. Now the decimal on 100 is here. To turn it back to 1, we'll count 1, 2. Okay? Same, the decimal on 1, we need to count 2 times. 1, 2. So this decimal ended here. So we'll fill the zeros in the missing places, giving us what? 0.01. So the third question, 0.7. 0.7 over 100. It's already a decimal percent. So write 0.7 over 100. So we're going to count. Let's write it out here again. 0.7 over 100. So from here we'll count 2 times. 1, 2. Here we'll also count 2 times. 1, 2. This is where the decimal ends. We'll fill out the empty spaces, giving us 0.007 as a decimal. So we have 205. 205 is actually larger than 100%. So we'll say 205 over 100. 205 over 100. So we will count from here 1, 2. Count here also 1, 2. So we have 2.05. Welcome back, friends. So now we're going to quickly move on to addition and subtraction of decimals. I promised you that I was going to take every single thing that has to do with decimals today. 0.003 plus 1.6. So you write it like this. Make sure the 2 decimal points align on the same points, okay? So we'll have it like this. So what will be the answer? Assume that anything here is 0, okay? Assume that it is 0, and it's also 0 because it's empty. So that means you have 0, 0 here. So it will be 3 plus 3 give us 3. 0 plus 0 gives us 0. 0 plus 6 gives us 6. 0 plus 1 gives us 1. So the answer to this problem is 1.603. Then we have a second problem, which is 52. Remember, I said you have to write it so that the decimal points will align together. So we'll say 1.003. Take a good look at this. The decimal points align together. So we're going to add this up, starting from the smallest part of the terms. So we have 0 plus 3 gives us 3. 0 plus 0 gives us 0. 4 plus 0 gives us 4. Then we have our decimal points. 2 plus 1 gives us 3. 5 plus 0 gives us 5. And our answer is 53.403. And here we have a whole number and other 2 decimal numbers. So we'll write them out. We'll write 135. Then we have 44.571. Then we have 2.01. Remember, every whole number decimal exists at the end of that whole number. Okay? So let's add this up. What do we have? 0 plus 1 plus 0 gives us 1. 0 plus 7 plus 1 gives us 8. 0 plus 5 plus 0 gives us 5. Then we have our decimal point here. 5 plus 9. 5 plus 4. 9 plus 2, 11. 1, carry 1. 1 plus 3, 4 plus 4, 8 plus 0, 8. And then 1 plus 0 plus 0. This is where we have it. Okay? Then we have a subtraction problem. 34.91 minus 14.214. Always remember that these empty spaces represent what? 0. So if we want to subtract 0, remember we'll borrow 1 from this side and we'll have 10 there. 10 minus 4 gives us 6. Because we borrowed 1 from here, we're left with 0. Borrow from 9, we'll now be left with 8, so this will be 10. 10 minus 1 gives us 9. Then 8 minus 2 gives us 6, right? Then here we have 4 minus 4 giving us 0, 3 minus 1 giving us 2, okay? So that is that. So quickly, we'll also do this. Let's do a B part of this. We'll subtract these figures, okay? So we'll say 52.4 minus 1.003, okay? I'll complete 0 and 0 over there. So we'll borrow 1 from 4, it will remain 3. It will get back, this will become 10. So we'll borrow 1 from 10, it will remain 9, and move it over to here. So we'll have 10 minus 3 giving us 7, right? Then 9 minus 0 giving us 9. 3 minus 0 giving us 3. Then we have 2 minus 1 giving us 1. 5 minus 0 giving us 5. So this is the answer to addition. This is the simple way we do our addition and subtraction of decimals. Our next operation for our decimals is going to be multiplication and division of decimals. Okay, so we have some problems outlined here already. The first one is multiply 0.003 times 1.6. Watch carefully the way I write it down. It's not the same method we write down for addition and subtraction. Multiplication and division have a different way of it being written down. So we'll say 0.003 times 1.6. It's going to be written as a square regardless of the decimal points. So what will we have? We'll first of all say 6 times this plus 1 times this. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 0. So write 8 remainder 1. 6 times 0 is 0 plus 1. 6 times 0 is 0. 6 times 0 is 0. Now I wrote this down without writing any decimal points, okay? So the next step is 1. This first multiplication will be written under 6. You start from under 6. But for 1, we'll start from under 1. So say 1 times 3 gives us 3. 1 times 0 gives us 0. 1 times 0 gives us 0. 1 times 0 gives us 0. So we're going to add this quickly. It will be 8. 1 plus 3, 4, 0, 0, 0. So now what do we do next? We're going to count the decimal places we have in the beginning part of this multiplication. So now let's count together. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 decimal places. Let's count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now starting from here, we're going to count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our answer will be 0.0048. 0.0048. That's our answer. I hope you got that. Then the next one is our division problem. First of all, we'll draw up the long division table. The long division table. Then we'll write the side, that is the divisor, which is 1003. I'm going to write it without the decimal points. And then we'll write this other side 524. Okay? So now I'll start like this. I'll say 0 point, and I put a 0 there. So 5,240 divided by 1003 would give us 5. So 5 times this will be this. Am I correct? Okay, so we'll subtract this. 10 minus 5 gives us 5. This is remainder 3. 3 minus 1 gives us 2. 2 minus 0 gives us 2. We'll introduce a 0, okay? A new 0. 2,250 divided by 1003 will most probably give us 2, okay? So 2 times this will be 6. 2 times 0, 0. 2 times 1, 2. Then we subtract. So we're going to have 4, 4, 2. And then we continue 2. So we'll have 2006. Okay? Have 2006. So when you subtract 2006, sorry, I'll have to clean this part off. Let me first of all write it down here. 34.91 minus 14.214. Okay, so we'll make it a multiplication problem. We'll make it a multiplication problem. So when you subtract this, what will you have? You have 4 here, you have 3 here, and you have 4 here. So you bring down another 0. Okay, so you divide this, giving you 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So when you subtract this once again, and you have 8. Remember, this is remainder 3, so this will be 2 and 3. Okay, are we clear with that? Good. So we introduce a new 0 here, a new 0 here. So this will be 3. So we have 9 what? 0, 0, 3. So if we subtract this, we'll have this. Okay, so I'll do it one more time before we'll count how many decimal places. Okay, so we introduce a new 0. This is a recurring decimal. Okay, you could do this for the whole day. You find out that you're dividing and dividing and dividing and dividing infinity times, and you keep on having numbers. So you can choose to stop at any number of decimal places which you choose. So let's do this final one. We'll have 2 here. So we'll have 2006. Okay, so let's stop here. So now let's watch this carefully. I'd like you to watch this carefully. So here we'll count how many decimal places we have in the whole of this term. How many decimal places you have in the whole of this term. Okay, starting from the end, we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have 4 decimal places. Now, this number that we got, that is 0.522 4, 3, 2. Okay, so we're going to count 4 decimal places. So let's count from the left, from the right to the left. We'll count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It stopped here. So our final answer is 52.2432. That's our final answer. So can we quickly solve this other one? This other one is 135 divided by 2.01. There are different methods to solve these things, okay? There are different methods to solve these things, but this is just a long division method. After this, I'll show you the second method that you can use to solve question 2. So, we'll say 0.1, 0 point will give us 0 here, okay? 0 point will give us 0 here. So, we'll remove this decimal first. So, 201 divided 1,350 divided by 201 will give us 6. 6 is the most probable solution that we will get from this problem. So multiply 6 by 200, we'll have 6, 0, 12. So we'll subtract this, giving us 4, 4, 1. Okay? Now we introduce a new 0 here. We introduce a new 0 there. So these 2 will enter here how many times? It will enter here how many times? It will enter here most probably 7 times. Most probably 7 times. So let's multiply this. We'll have 7, 7, 0, 14. Okay? So when we subtract this, we will have 3, 3. I think we're almost very close to our answer. 0. So 201 will enter here how many times? It will enter here once. Once. 1 times this will give you 201. So this will give you 9 and 2 and 1. So this is the last step we'll do in this division. So I'll put 0 here. I'll put 0 there. We will have 6. So if we multiply by 6, we'll have 1206. So I'm stopping here. So there's no need to subtract this. So the answer is, we'll write this down, 6716. So we're going to count how many decimal places we have here. We have only 1, 2. 2 decimal places on this side and no decimal place on this side. So a total of 2 decimal places. So that gives us, from the right hand side, we count 2 decimal places. 1, 2, giving us 67.16. So if you check your calculator, you find out that this is the correct answer. So we have another problem here. We have a problem here. A question to solve, not a problem, not a literal problem, a mathematics problem. So let's multiply these. So we'll say 1, 3, okay, I'd rather use the one that has more digits on top, and the one that has fewer digits, I'll bring them down, okay? So I will say 4.571 times 1, 3, 5. Do you get that? I think it's clear enough. So first of all, multiply the first digit of the last digit of 135. And we'll start writing under 5. 5 times 1 gives us 5. 5 times 7 gives us 35. So we'll write 5, remainder 3. 5 times 5 gives us 25 plus 3, which is 28. So we'll write 8, remainder 2. So 5 times 4 is 20, which will give us what? 22. 20 plus remainder 2, 22. Another 20 plus 2, remainder 2. So we'll write 22. Then we'll multiply 3. Now we'll start from under 3. 3 times 1 gives us 3. 3 times 7 gives us 21, right? So you write 1, remainder 2, remainder 2. 3 times 5 gives us 15, plus 2, that is 17, remainder 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1, which is 13, remainder 1. 3 times 4 is another 12, plus 1, which is 13. And then we have the final digit of 135. So 1 times a number is the same number. So we'll write out this figure under 1. Okay? So we'll say 1, 7, 5, 4, 4. So we're going to add this up. We're going to add this up. So if we add this up, we'll have 5, 8, 10, 17, 11, 10, 6. At this point, we're going to count how many decimal places, and then we're going to use that to know where to put our decimal after this multiplication. So I can see 3 decimal points on this part. So let's count. We have 1, 2, 3. Then there are no decimal places on 135. So we have a total of 3 decimal points for the whole problem. So starting from the right hand side, we'll count 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3. So our final answer is 6,017.085. That's our final answer. That's our final answer. So I believe everything is clear. So the next thing we're going to do, we are going to solve equations that contain decimals. Solving equations that contain decimals. So we have a specimen question here. 2x plus 15 is equal to 2.05. Find the value of x. Find the value of x. So first of all, we'll say subtract 15 from both sides. Subtract 15 from both sides. So we'll say 2x plus 15 minus 15 equal to 2.05 minus 15. As we all know, 15 minus 15 gives us 0. So we'll end up having 2x equal to 2.05 minus 15. So how do we subtract this? How do we subtract this? So I'll do it like this. Simply, I'll say 15.00 minus, just hold on a second, okay? 2.05. Now, first of all, we'll borrow from 5. 1 from 5 here, we'll have 10. So if we borrow from 10, it will remain 9. And here will become 10. So 10 minus 5 will give us 5. 9 minus 0 will give us 9. Remember, this was remainder 4. So 4 minus 2 will give us 2 and 1. Okay? So remember that it's supposed to be 2.05 minus 15. That means 15 is greater, the negative part is greater in value than the positive part. So the answer will be in negative. So we'll have 2x is equal to minus 12.95. So the next step for us to get x is to divide both sides. Divide both sides by 2. So we have 2x over 2 equal to minus 12.95 all over 2. 2 will cross out the other 2, leaving us with what? X. We have to divide this. If 2 goes into 2, we have 1. If 2 goes into 12, we have 6. We'll put the decimal point there. If 2 goes into 9, we'll have 4 remainder 1, giving us 15. If 2 goes into 15, we'll say 7 remainder 1. Remember, there's an imaginary 0 here, so that is 10. So if 2 goes into 10, we have 5. So the answer for x is minus 6.475. Minus 6.475. I actually hope you enjoyed this class. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section. You can also contact me by sending me an email to easymathsonline@gmail.com. We are your one-stop plug for all your maths problems. If you have any problems, just call on us and we'll answer you. If you're writing your JAMB examination, your WAEC, your A-level exams, your common entrance, your junior WAEC, we are going to answer all your questions. We're going to guide you there. It's just easy. I want you to subscribe to the channel. It's free. You get free classes. You make a request and we'll answer you ASAP. So I want you to enjoy the rest of your day. And remember that maths is easy. Thank you.